Hi students! So for this module, we will discuss the different principles of bioethics. Now, when we talk of principles, we have to understand what does it mean. No? First, we have to define its term. The term principle refers to the intellectual guide for you in bioethics for ethical action. It is a philosophically accepted basis or foundation that can be used to establish directions for ethically tenable actions. Now, sometimes principles, because they are seen as guiding stick for our actions, if these principles are wrongly termed or wrongly defined or wrongly aligned, our actions may become messed up. And when these erroneous principles are passed to generations, it becomes the norm. No? Now, the principles in bioethics or of bioethics are guiding instructions for us, no, for to have a moral and ethical conduct of our actions, no, to express what individuals and society expect, no, from human beings on what to do or what not to do based on personal or social importance. Now, as we have defined on our first lecture, the principles of bioethics are derived from human behavior and it's not a product of mental speculation. It means that it is something that is inherent with us. If you would relate our discussion with natural law, the principles of bioethics that we will discuss are rooted in this natural law. As we go on with our discussion, the if you will notice how we anchor our decision making to natural law. Now, the categories or the principles of bioethics can be categorized into three, no? Three main categories. The first one is what you call your principles of faith, no? Which directs us or teaches us to be more prudent, no? In to have a more prudent conscience and be more prudent in decision making. So it involves actually a process of knowing and strengthening and deepening of human insight and reason. So this set of principles or these categories of principles would encourage us, no, to deepen our insight, to deepen our reason, because we want to have a wider perspective and a deeper insight when we examine the different cases in bioethics and when we confront ethical dilemmas. So here are some of the principles involved in this category. These are your well-formed conscience, free and informed consent, no, the principle of moral discernment, the principles of double effect, legitimate cooperation, truth-telling or veracity, and professional communication. Another set of or another category, no, of principles in bioethics would be your principle of Christian love, no, which motivates you to direct your will to be concerned, no, about the welfare and needs of other people. This involves, no, the principles of human dignity, the principle of justice, and the principle of totality and integrity. While the third and last set of bioethical principle is what you call your principle of Christian hope. No? These are when we say principles of Christian hope. These are principles, no, that are eschatologically aligned, meaning it looks beyond what is in the end of a person. Okay, it is inspired, no, by the final coming of Christ in the fully realized kingdom of God, where His glory and majesty will prevail. So this involves, no, principles such as grow through human suffering, okay, human sexuality, and even stewardship and creativity. Now, all bioethical principles are related to each other. No? kahit na i-categorize natin siya from one to the other, i-differentiate it from one to the other, all bioethical principles are interrelated. Meaning, you need one principle to solve one or more than one principle to solve an ethical dilemma. This means that there's no monopoly, no, of bioethical principle that has to be used, no, to resolve ethical dilemma. Although even though, no, kahit sabihin natin na walang monopoly ng principle, there is a priority, no, which occupies the highest rank or highest importance when we resolve ethical conflict or ethical dilemmas. Okay? Because there's one principle that would prevail among all others. And that would be your principle of human dignity. So if any bioethical principle will conflict with human dignity always will be your priority to protect. No? You will prioritize to resolve the conflict that addresses, no, violations with human dignity. If that is the case, human dignity is the most important bioethical principle, right? So when we say dignity, we have to dig in on what is human dignity. When we say dignity, it came from the Latin word or the Latin term dignitas, which means worth or being worthy. Okay? Now, when we say something is worthy, it has value. Let's say, for example, you have a 1,000 peso bill. Okay? Your 1,000 peso bill is very valuable to you because it has significant value, monetary value. You can use it for anything that you need, for your wants, or you can keep it as your savings. If I will give you a 1,000 peso bill, you'll probably accept it. But let's say, for example, this 1,000 peso bill that will come from me is crumpled, dumi, puro sulat. Will you still accept it? I think you will still accept it, right? Because what? Because why? Because that 1,000 peso bill has a value. Now let's equate it to the situation of human beings. Now, if a person, we say a person has a dignity, but his external appearance, even his internal disposition is quite crumpled, no? Hindi perpekto, madumi, no? Hindi katanggap-tanggap, di ba? Why would we not accept that person, no, as a person with dignity? But why we can accept a 1,000 peso bill na gula-gulanit? No? That exemplifies, no, the irreducibility or the irreducible nature of human dignity. Human dignity cannot be equated to any form of money, no, because the basis of your dignity is because of the fact that you are a rational being. Not just rational, because you are a human being. Being a human being is already, no, or already entitles you of being worthy and of respect and honor. If you will internalize this and apply it, no, to your patients, never should you reject any patient na mahirap alagaan, na mahirap financially, or whatsoever. If that is the case, then, if you will view people as people's dignity nang dahil sa silbi, no? Silbi sa lipunan, ambag, no? Sa lipunan, wag na lang din nating tanggapin yung mga taong may kapansanan. Do you get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, human dignity should be respected to every individual regardless of their social class, their gender, no? I'm telling you gender kasi mapa-LGBT man yan, they have their own dignity. Age, bata, no? Matanda, they are worthy of human dignity. The sex, being male or female, no? Mapalalaki, mapababae, you are worthy of your dignity. Okay? You are worthy, you are entitled of your dignity. Your origin, no? Kung saan ka man nagmula. Yan. All of those, no, all of those baliwala yun, no? Because of the fact that you are all human beings. When we talk about Immanuel Kant or Kantianism, there's one tenet, no, in that school of thought that emphasize that humans are to be treated, no, as an end and not as means. Meaning people should not be used to achieve a certain or specific goal. No, the goal of your more specifically when we apply it in healthcare, the goal of your healthcare should never be, no, should never be achieving something out from your patients, but rather should to achieve, no, the full healing, thus dignity of um, your patients. Okay, because humans are not tools, even if it will lead you to some good end. No? So therefore, if this is the case, you should never be you should never despise your patients, no, who are difficult to deal with. You should never despise your patients even if they cannot pay their hospital bills, 'di ba? So you should bear in mind always that all patients have their own dignity because of the fact that they are all humans. Okay? Now, human dignity does not only apply at our present state, but also extends at the ontological level or even at the functional level. Sinabing ontological level, sa pagkasimula pa lang ng buhay, mayroon ng dignidad ang tao. No? So, even if there is a zygote, a fertilized ovum, kahit sabihin ng mga abortionist na dugo pa lang naman yan eh. But that cell contains the same number of chromosomes that you have. Wouldn't that be a human being as well? 'Di ba? Kumbaga, pag nagtanim ka ng kamote, ano ang makukuha mo? Kamote pa rin. Kapag nagbunga ang pagmamahalan ng dalawang tao, ano ang kanyang ibinunga? Tao pa din. So we cannot say that that ovum is not, or that fertilized ovum is not a human being. No? We cannot deny that because by ontologically speaking, tao 'yun. No? Some abortionists would tell you, no, that fetus cannot function, no? Kahit fetus na, mayroon pang nagpapa-abort kahit fetus, no? Some abortionists would say, okay lang 'yan, no? But then kasi ang reason nila, that fetus does not function, no, the same as ours. Okay? But we as persons, miski naman tayo, nung tayo na mga fetus pa, wala rin tayong function, no, na mag-isip, na maglakad, di ba? But then we are treated with respect. Sabi nga sa Kantianism, no, yung kanyang yung perfect duty na we should apply, no, to others what we want others do unto us, no? If we apply, no, our standards na i-abort yung sanggol, dapat tayo rin i-apply natin sa sarili natin yon. Hindi dapat tinanggap din natin na i-abort tayo. Diba? So human dignity therefore prohibits any unjust discrimination of human beings, especially in the pursuit for their actualization of their potential. No? We should never hinder other people to achieve their goal, no? Because it is with it is by respecting their decisions, no? It's by respecting their actualization potential that we respect their dignity. Okay? So, yun nga, sabi ko kanina, it is in this view that patients can reasonably demand quality service from healthcare providers. Okay? And it should be understood that patient rights are claims that are fundamental to promote their human life. Now, the second principle is what you call your principle of stewardship and creativity. This principle refers to the idea about the care for the integrity of creation applicable to both natural resources and human creativity. In principle of stewardship creativity, we are our attitude in managing healthcare resources or resources around us should be as if we are a caretaker of it. No? Kasi in the usage of resources, in the manipulation of our environment, there are two types of dominion that we apply. No? There's one school of thought saying we can have an absolute dominion, no, over things. Ibig sabihin, we are in complete control of whatever is around us. Okay? On the other end, we should have a shared governance. Okay? We have a shared governance or shared dominion over things, meaning we use the things, no, on what is intended of the donor to us. Now, ang premise ng absolute dominion is that, yung kaninang school of thought na naunang binanggit ko, ang premise ng absolute dominion is that we should be the creator of that particular resource na gagamitin natin. So that we can have full control over things. No? Dapat tayo yung gumawa. On the other hand, sa shared dominion, yun naman ay nagraran sa premise na kung ano yung will ng donor sa atin, yun ang ang intention dapat natin sa paggamit ng resource na ibinigay sa atin. Now, why am I explaining or why are we studying the principle of stewardship and creativity? Because this has a great impact on how we deal with different procedures in medical field or the nursing field or in the healthcare field. No? Imagine if we will take on an absolute dominion paradigm, no, in healthcare. So the tendency is that we try to manipulate everything around us, even our bodies, according to our will. The main question is, are we allowed to do everything that we wanted to do to our bodies? The answer is, if you are the creator of your body. But the question is, can you create your own body? Tama? So if you cannot create your own body, then why you should go with absolute dominion? So the proper attitude, no? The proper attitude in the care of your patient should be a shared dominion paradigm, no? A shared dominion paradigm says that you should do what is your or what your donor o sino mang gumawa ng katawan mo, o anong will niya sa katawan mo, yun dapat ang gawin mo. So this has a large implication. This has a great impact on the healthcare procedures that we encounter, no? In this paradigm, we tend to think kung dapat bang gawin kahit na kaya nating gawin. No? O kaya kung ang sabihin tawag dito, can we do the things, no, that we can do, or should we do it even if we can do it? Kasi if we keep on doing things na kaya naman natin pero hindi naman dapat talaga gawin, there can be disaster, no? There can be disaster. Like for example, Alfred Nobel, no? He invented the dynamite. He created an explosive which he intends to use for construction purposes. But then, ginamit yung idea niya into something more, no? More specifically, in weaponry. No? Kaya nga niya dinevelop yung Nobel Peace Prize. Kasi he wanted to make some undoing, no? To make some undoing on what he did, no? Okay? Because a misuse of your creative intelligence leads to the destruction and eventual violation of this principle. No? In healthcare, maraming procedure na dapat hindi na sana ginawa, no? Pero ginawa pa rin. Right? If you are familiar with CRISPR, okay, the CRISPR is a gene editing tool. It is intended for treating cancers. No? However, sa clinical trial stage pa lang ng CRISPR, nagkakaroon na ng anomaly. No? I have read an article na there out of a liver's pig, no, na minodify. Okay? Nagkaroon ng protrusion na mukhang tenga, ears out of the liver, no? Because of that gene editing. Okay? It brings destruction if we misuse this. If this CRISPR technology falls at the wrong hands, no, there will be a catastrophic event, no, that may happen, na pwedeng mangyari. Okay? So we have to be careful, no, on doing things na magagawa natin. Isipin muna natin, should we do it? Okay? So whatever is given to us, another tenet of this principle is that whatever is given to us should be taken care of, no, according to the intention of the donor. Okay? And the last principle would be for this video lecture will be the principle of totality and integrity, which is to properly apply, no, to the individuality of a human person who is an embodied spirit with all the function and capacities he naturally possesses. What does this mean? We have to make sure, no, that each individual part of a person's body, each individual function, each individual capacity should be respected as if, no, it is a whole, because it is necessary to preserve, no, the dignity of that person. Now, sometimes there's a saying that goes na the good of the part remains subordinated for the overall good, no, of the whole. However, we should always treat every part of your body with respect because it is necessary or it is part, no, ng kabuuang dignity ninyo. Now, to promote dignity, every person must develop, use, care for, and preserve all his or her natural physical and psychic functions in a way that, number one, your bodily and psychic lower functions, meaning yung mga hindi vital sa iyong life, no? Should be preserved, no? Should be preserved or never sacrificed unless it is necessary to preserve your whole life o yung inyong buhay, no? For example, you have a diabetic foot, no? A diabetic foot, nagiging gangrenous yung legs, no? Yung paa or yung limb ng isang diabetic patient, no? Kasi hindi gumaling dahil compromised yung system niya para pagalingin yon. So, nagkakaroon ng gangrene, nabubulok, no? Which is sometimes becomes life-threatening. No? When it becomes life-threatening, it's necessary, no, to preserve or to sacrifice that part. No? However, there should be an effort, no, to compensate for that sacrifice. Kaya naman natin siya binibigyan ng prosthetic leg or anything or walking aids to compensate for the loss of that part. Kasi iba rin ang pakiramdam kapag hindi ka makapaglakad. Iba rin ang dating sa taong naputulan ng paa, no? Na nawalan na siya ng paa. So for him to function normally as he was before, we should compensate for that loss in that body part. The second, no, principle or the second tenet of totality integrity is that basic capacities that define our personhood are never to be sacrificed. Okay? Unless it is necessary to preserve life. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo dapat pabawasan ang hindi ka magpapagawa ng anything, no? That will kung hindi naman nakakaapekto, no, sa basic capacity mo bilang tao. Okay? Unless ikamamatay mo 'yun. Okay? So here are some what you call this? Here are some cases, no, or procedures that might come in clash with totality and integrity, no? Unang-una dyan yung cosmetic surgery. Okay? Cosmetic surgeries are okay, no? But then, if it's done in excessive vanity, ano, sobrang vanidoso o vanidosa na di naman yata it has some ethical implication kung ganoon ang case, no? Well, kung artista ka at kailangan mo iyon na magpa-retoke dahil you're a public figure, you want to look good to them, no? May rason naman kung bakit kailangan, no? It's ethically indifferent. Ibig sabihin walang ethical implication. Hindi naman ethically good, hindi naman bad, no? Indifferent. Okay? Meron ding case ng genital mutilation, no? Yung pag-mutilate ng ari, no? One particular case, no, sa mga may mga cases ng circumcision, no, ng clitoris that has some ethical implication, and even transsexual and sex reassignment surgeries. Because we have to preserve our bodily function on what is given to us. All right? So that ends my lecture for this first set of ethical principles. I hope that you have learned something from me. If you have any questions, you may send your questions directly to my messenger. No, if you want to discuss something with your classmates, you are free to use our Facebook group, no, for any discussion that you want to start. Okay? With that, I end my lecture. Thank you and goodbye.